I'm on a goal to become a full-time artist. I've been working semi-professionally now for about 2 decades, and I want to take it back to where it all began, starting in about 2003. So this is just going to be a quick review, some of my old artwork, just to see how far I've come in that time. So this is back in 2003. I think I was about 20, 21 years old, and it was all about creating clean looking line art. I wasn't particularly good at drawing, so what I would do is just spend ages trying to create the perfect piece and make up for my lack of ability with just more time invested in the artwork. So even though there were artists that could produce a sketch that I knew in, like, I don't know, 20 minutes, that same sketch would take me an hour, if not longer. I just wanted to achieve the same finish. I wasn't really practicing art. I wasn't really doing the whole anatomy, perspective, color theory thing. It was just, I had an idea for a character and I wanted to turn that into a drawing. So at this stage, we're just drawing character faces, styles. That was always my thing. Let's try a different style. Let's try a character design. Let's try and do like a front pose, a back pose, put something together that would look quite good if it was maybe in a video game, something like that. This was actually one of my early commissions. It was to design a series of characters for a mobile phone game. So the idea, you had these magical phones that people had, and there were characters that would basically battle each other. So it's kind of taking a bit of inspiration from sort of SNK fighting games, things like that. Trying to mix just my interests into the commissions and the projects that I was being given at the time. And at this point I thought, you know what, I think I'm actually like a professional. I can create artwork that looks pretty good. I still feel like it's not bad for today's standards, but yeah, back in the day I was pretty pleased with what I was doing. So, you know, I really started to get into, you know, using Photoshop and taking my pencil drawings in there and giving it the kind of color rendering treatment. Sometimes I would, you know, completely make up my own characters from scratch. Other times I might check out some reference on the internet and try and get the perspectives or the anatomy right if I was struggling. So I wouldn't necessarily say at this point that I'm competent in what I'm doing, but you know, I like to mix it up, try different things, and if I get stuck, you know, I can always use some reference to sort of get me through it. This was another commission that I did for a band for their CD artwork and website. First time I used markers, for example, on this one, and I was quite pleased. I thought, wow, I'm actually doing markers. Markers is what the professionals do. And it was about this time I was actually also studying at university, doing a graphic media degree, which was a mixture of graphic design, animation, illustration. And in my spare time, I would also just draw characters that I would use in projects, how to draw artwork, books, things like that. You know, I admit that I was never really good. I probably shouldn't have been teaching people how to draw, but, you know, there I was, giving it a go. At this point, I had the idea of becoming a tattoo artist. So I was either working in actual tattoo shops, doing a little bit of tattoo artwork, or just going away, creating stuff that I thought, you know what, that could actually be used potentially in a tattoo. This was a little commission that I did for somebody. This was kind of trying a little bit of abstract, weird stuff. Someone wanted a Chocobo tattoo, which was great because normally you don't get anime or game inspired tattoo requests. So I was quite happy about that. Sometimes I would try something a bit more semi-realistic. Sometimes it was more stylized. You know, I still don't really feel like I've got my own style. Even to this day, I just like to try different things, and I find that quite enjoyable. Again, this is sort of a mixture of like tattoo-ish inspired artwork, and then going back to anime, trying out different styles again, seeing what works, what doesn't. Sometimes you just want to do it because you just want to draw a picture, or you want to create a little concept or a design. Other times, right, I've got someone who wants a rose tattoo, let me go away and design it and see what I can come up with. Sometimes the artwork is bad. You have those bad days where it's just like, wow, you know, I did some really good stuff last year, and then this year I'm sitting down to sketch something and try some little style ideas, and it was bad. And I look at this stuff now and I'm like, wow, okay, I could fix this. You know, I had a problem making the heads too big with a lot of characters, and I can see that now. But at the time when you draw stuff, you don't necessarily see the faults in it. You draw it and you think, wow, this is amazing. And then years later you look back and you're like, oh, actually the eyes were too small or the head was too big. That's good though. It shows that you've improved. It shows you've made progress. And sometimes you just draw these stupid little drawings and it might feel like you've got some talent and some skill at the time, but yeah, it's only after you've progressed that you realise that actually you've come quite a long way and you can actually see the faults in your old artwork. I definitely feel like I've improved since this time, and hopefully I'll keep at it and keep going. And I think it's always good to keep your old artwork and not delete it or not throw it in the trash in the bin, because it's fun to look back at and you can see where you've improved. You can even feel nostalgic for the old artwork that you've done. I think that's quite a good thing. So decades later, I've continued to draw. I feel like I've gotten better and I'm still in pursuit of becoming a full-time artist. So if you'd like to follow the journey with me, feel free to like and subscribe this video, and I'll see you again in the next one.